Hello guys, welcome back to another vlog. For this vlog, we're going to be filming for a week and I'm going to see how many books I can knock off of my monthly TBR. I'm at least hoping for 3 books in this vlog. I am going to see My Chemical Romance tonight, so I probably won't have my usual reading time tonight because I'm probably going to get back home and be absolutely exhausted. But I have nothing going on for the rest of the week up until Friday when my son has a doctor's appointment that's like 2 hours away. So Friday I will probably be getting some really good audiobook hours in. Usually in my vlogs I'm reading 1 book at a time, but this time I'm going to do something a little bit different because I have 1 book that I know I don't want to listen to the audio for, and 1 book that just came through on Libby that I don't have the physical copy for, and my library also doesn't have it. So I think I'm going to be kind of reading the 2 books at the same time. So let's back up a little bit. Here are the books on my TBR. I'm pretty excited for all of these. Actually, I can already knock off The Book Eaters because I already did my reread of that. I was just so excited for it that I just needed to jump right into it. So we have Parable of the Sower, The Reformatory, Cultish, All's Well, Chain Gang All-Stars, and Powerless. Powerless is my in-person book club pick for the month, and by the time this vlog comes out, we will be having our meeting on that. So I'm going to be reading Powerless physically starting today. I already got 2 chapters in and I am already liking it way more than the last 2 in the series. So all good things so far. So Powerless is the 3rd book in the Chestnut Spring series, which is a small town cowboy romance series. If this is the first video you're coming across of mine, I absolutely hated Flawless, the 1st book, and then I decided to give Elsie Silver another chance and I read Heartless because we're reading the whole series in my book club. Really enjoyed Heartless, and now the 3rd book is Powerless. Each book is like a different brother or like a different interconnected character in this small town, and Powerless is friends to lovers, which is my absolute favorite romance trope, so I have high hopes. We're following Jasper and Sloane. Jasper is like an adopted brother in this group of brothers, and Sloane is their cousin, but they've always like secretly had a crush on each other since they were like preteens, and Sloane is actually engaged to this huge douchebag, and Jasper's like, why are you marrying him? She's basically marrying him because she's a people pleaser, because her dad wants her to marry him, which is wild. Could you imagine? Also, Jasper is like a famous NHL player and Sloane is a ballerina. So that's a very interesting combination. Like I said, so far I'm really enjoying it. But if you know me, you know that I always have an audiobook on the go, and usually I like to listen and physically read the same book. So like for example, when I read The Book Eaters last week, I was listening to it when I couldn't physically pick it up, but then when I had downtime, I was able to physically pick it up and read it. So I usually like to do that, but since I am not buying books right now, I'm being very good about not buying books right now because my physical TBR is out of control and my library doesn't have it. My Libby hold for the audiobook of Chain Gang All-Stars just came in. I am a little bit sad that I can't like dual read this because I feel like I would really love to physically read this. I'm still very excited for this one, you guys. I've heard nothing but good things and the description of this sounds amazing. I don't know too much about Chain Gang All-Stars and I actually kind of want to keep it that way, but what I do know is that I think like prisoners in like the American prison system are literally like fighting gladiator style to win their freedom back, which sounds so good. So that's pretty much all I know. I haven't started it yet, but yeah, I'm gonna be giving you updates on both the books as I go along, and then once I'm done, we will pick up something else on my TBR. Like I said, I'm going to My Chemical Romance tonight, which will be super fun, but I will talk to you guys again when I have updates. Hi guys. Got my little jazz going, my fall jazz. I've had such a quiet, nice morning of just editing, but I do want to get some reading done, so I'm going to pick up Powerless now, but I want to give you an update on Chain Gang All-Stars. I am 23% of the way through now, so just slightly under a quarter of the way through. My first impressions is I do wish that I had the physical book and I was reading it physically and with audio. I am finding the beginning, like the world building almost, to be like a little bit hard to comprehend by just listening, but I feel like at this point we have most of the world built, and I feel like I'm pretty sure we know all of the characters at this point, so I do think that listening to it is going to get a little bit smoother now. It is gorier than I expected, but the gore isn't like constant, so it's not that bad. It's just like every once in a while I'm like, oh god. I absolutely love the concept of this, and I feel like even though it's like dystopian, it is very timely so far, so that's very interesting. I like our characters so far. Like I said at the beginning of this video, it's like prisoners and they're fighting to their death. So basically, like when they get convicted, they can either choose to either go to like this work camp, which is essentially like slavery, or I think be executed, or they can go into the CAPE program, which I forget what CAPE stands for, but it's basically you can be a part of this entertainment and basically like fight each other to the death. When they choose CAPE, they get placed into a chain gang, which is just a group of prisoners that are usually like from the same area, and then the chain gang, basically they fight against other chain gangs. There will never be two prisoners from the same chain gang fighting against each other. Obviously, like these matches are televised. It's like 1 against 1, so it's not like a whole chain gang versus a whole nother chain gang. It's just like one person from different chain gangs fighting each other to the death. And yeah, it's like televised in the way that like the Hunger Games is televised, but you can also like buy tickets to go see it live. And then a part that I didn't know about it is that when they are done fighting, their whole entire like life is televised. After the fighting, the chain gangs obviously get back together, and then they go back to like their housing, and their whole entire life in their like housing is televised. So yeah, I think it's the most interesting concept. I'm enjoying it so far. Like I said, I kind of found it a little bit dense. I don't think I would consider the book so far dense, but I just think for me, I like to start books physically because I feel like my brain processes the world and everything better. And then like once I have a handle on like the characters and the world, then I can jump into the audiobook. So that has been a little bit difficult, like I said before, but I think it's gonna get a little bit easier now that I know the world and I know the characters. So really loving it so far. I will update you guys on that one at 50%. I'll do the same for Powerless, but right now my youngest is going to be home in like 20 minutes now, so I'm just gonna read until he gets here. We're reading Powerless. I am not much farther along than I was at my last update. Yeah, I'm 32% of the way through page 151. I am on Jasper's chapter. Let's read. Bye. I have a dying battery. This is probably not the best time to update you, so I'll just make it quick. I'm making lunch for my kids because we are about to go to a doctor's appointment that is like an hour and a half away. But I forgot to update you guys at 50% through Powerless. I'm now 75% of the way through Powerless. I'm still liking it. I'm still liking the couple, but I will say that I'm not entirely here for the spice that's happening. I'm not really into like the possessive smut, I guess. So I'm a little bit disappointed because I did think that this might be my favorite one of all of them so far, but the smut is like cringing me out a lot. So, but really that's my only complaint. I'm really liking the rest of it. I'm interested to see what the conflict is going to be because they've been together for a few chapters now and I'm at 75%, so I'm sure there's going to be some little something that throws something off and then they're like, oh, we can't do this, and then they'll get back together. So curious to see what that is going to look like. Yeah, that's my quick update. I gotta go. Don't mind the massive breakout that I'm having on my chin. I just finished Powerless about an hour ago and I really enjoyed it. I still can't decide if Heartless or Powerless has been my favorite so far. I really liked like all of the things that Jasper and Sloane did together, like all of their like little adventures and things. Like I liked the storyline of Powerless, but the smut in Powerless really threw me off, not gonna lie. I know I kind of already talked about it. I just get very easily icked out when the smut, or even just in general, not even the smut, but when like a man in a book is like very possessive and like domineering, like it's not my thing. Probably why I don't really read dark romance. I just find it icky and immediately I'm just like, Although I really liked it, I did actually, by the end of it, I kind of felt like I didn't feel the chemistry between Jasper and Sloane as much as I would have liked. Like I did feel a little bit, but I guess I was just like hoping that Jasper would have been like more head over heels. Like I know that like it said that he was, but like I didn't see it. Like I did not see the head over heels. I mean, I guess like the ballerina tattoo, that was so sweet and cute. So like I guess he was, but for some reason, I don't know, I just didn't feel it as much as I wished I would have. But all that to say, I still really enjoyed it. It was very fast paced for me. All of these books actually have been like pretty quick for me to get through, which is nice. After our little introduction with like Theo and Winter, I am very excited for, what is it? Reckless, I think. I'm just very excited for their story, and obviously I'm excited for Beau's story too. But the crazy thing is that I literally cried at the end of Powerless. Like it was so sweet. It was just so Hallmark movie-esque, and something about it I was just like, oh, and I cried. I literally cried. Harvey always makes me cry. Definitely recommend this series. But anyways, I'm kind of going back and forth about if I want to rate this a 3.75 or a 4 stars. I want to say like I got the feeling of like 4 stars, but then when the smut came around I was like, ugh, like the smut for me really kind of did bring it down to a 3.75, and there was a lot of smut in this one compared to the other ones. I think that's where I'm at with that. We're still reading Chain Gang. I'm not that much farther in since I last updated you, I don't think. When did I last update you? Am I due for an update? I might be due for an update. Okay, I'm at 56% of the way through Chain Gang. I am still finding it a little bit hard to follow, and I do kind of think it might be the audiobook. For some reason, just looking at the words on the page makes it a lot easier for my brain to process what's happening. There's a lot of different characters happening. I am still enjoying it. It's a little bit more political than I expected it to be, which is not a bad thing. I think it's like a great critique on like the American prison system and all of that. So that's been very interesting. I like our characters. I'm very just like intrigued to see still what's going to be happening. I'm pretty sure this is just a standalone book. I don't think it's part of a series. I just looked it up and it said that there's been no official announcement of a sequel, but the book's ending implies future events. So didn't realize I was getting myself into a series here. There's just a lot of aspects that are very intriguing. Like they have this thing in the prison prison system called Influence. And it almost sounds like it's kind of like an electric shock that comes out of like a baton, I think. And when they use it, it's like the most painful thing that you could like ever possibly imagine. And they use it like against the prisoners. So that is pretty intriguing. The work that like the protesters are doing against like Chain Gang All-Stars is interesting as well. There was a scene where this woman who became a news anchor on her first day, when the camera started rolling, she just like immediately started going off about how bad Chain Gang All-Stars is, even though she was supposed to be reporting on Chain Gang All-Stars. Like she was like supposed to be a spokeswoman for them. So like that was intense and pretty badass, honestly. They had this thing called Melee where the Chain Gang, they're like trekking to, I think, their next fight. I don't know. They end up like meeting up with another chain gang and then they have to fight with that chain gang, which was very interesting. Yeah, it's all just very interesting. I feel like there's kind of a lot going on. There's a lot of different like POVs. We also just gained another POV of people that are behind Chain Gang All-Stars, like the corporate people. And we have two POVs. One POV of a guy that's like in the prison, and I'm pretty sure he's about to sign the paperwork to join Chain Gang All-Stars. And then we have another POV of another guy that got out of the prison system because he signed papers. So I don't know if they're going to be joining the main chain gang that we're following. I don't know. There's just a lot going on, so I think that's kind of making the experience not as good as I would have hoped it would be. Again, I think reading it physically would have been helping me out right now a little bit, but I literally don't have a way to get it unless I buy it, and I'm on a book buying ban and I'm not buying it. So all that to be said, even though I'm a little bit confused, I still know what's going on. You know, it's just like one of those books where I have to focus. I have to focus on it or I'm going to miss a bunch of stuff, which is fine. But it's hard to do in audiobook format. That's where I'm at with Chain Gang. Still liking it. Like I said, 56% of the way through, I believe I said. Yeah. And I have now picked up The Reformatory by Tananarive Due. I have been waiting so long to pick this up. I'm very, very excited for this. I've heard nothing but good things about this. I am a little bit intimidated by its thickness. It is 565 pages long, and this video comes out in less than a week, so I'm gonna need to hustle with this one. But I'm hoping that I can finish up Chain Gang, hopefully, and then I maybe will be able to go back and forth with the audio with this one. We'll see. But I read like up to page 4, so I don't really have anything to say that much yet. But this is about a 12-year-old boy who is sentenced to 6 months at the Gracetown School for Boys, which basically I think is the reformatory, because he was defending his sister against some boy, and he can actually see ghosts. And once he's at the reformatory, he starts seeing ghosts of I believe children that have passed away at the reformatory, and they're all like sending him a bunch of warnings and stuff. And I know that his sister is trying to break him out at the same time because it's like a really bad place to be, and it's in the Jim Crow South, and he's black, and it's bad. So very, very intrigued about it. Obviously, again, I haven't read enough to say anything, but cannot wait to dive into this more. Hello. I finished Chain Gang All Stars and wow. Just wow. That book is such a statement. It was just such an interesting way to explore the American prison system and consumerism versus society, how society just like doesn't seem to care about who gets hurt as long as they're being entertained. Also such a great look at like race and how race is such like a big factor in incarceration. This is one of those books where I feel like I'm not going to be able to adequately describe all of the things that it delved into in a way that is eloquent. I'm not good enough with my words to come up with everything that this book encompassed. On Fable, I ended up giving it a 4 stars. Like I was saying before, I do think that I would have found it a little bit easier to follow if I was also reading the physical book. So I think that might have affected my rating a little bit. But remember how I was saying like so many different characters were getting added and it was getting like confusing? She wrapped it up so beautifully. Like she brought all of those characters together so beautifully and it just all made so much sense at the end. I looked it up to see if there's going to be a sequel because the end of that book was insane. It left off on such a huge thing to happen. It did say on Google that there is potential of a sequel coming, but she hasn't like announced it or anything. But if you are thinking about reading it, it is very politically charged if you like books like that. I was going into it thinking that it was going to be like more focused on like the fights. Like I was thinking of it kind of like as Hunger Games, which is stupid of me to do, but I think it was more like there was obviously like fighting scenes and it was a little bit gory, just so you know. But I feel like it was like mostly about the politics of like the prison system and racism and classism and just all of this stuff. So it was really good, guys. It was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Definitely one that I would buy the trophy for and put on my shelf. I am exactly 25% of the way through The Reformatory. I'm on chapter 12 and I will tell you right now, guys, this is going to be a 5-star read. And you know what? I had a feeling when I first heard about this book. The vibes of it are just exactly what I would rate a 5 stars. It's so spooky, it's horrific and like scary like in a real life sense. Like scary in the sense that like you're a black boy in a reformatory in the 1950s, but like also scary because of like the ghosts and stuff. Just I'm on page 142 and every single second of this book I've been on the edge of my seat. I'm really enjoying it. I really like the characters so far. She just has a way of writing that has just captivated me right from the start. And honestly, I kind of wish that I had started annotating it because right from the beginning, there was like some quotes that had me like, oh, so good. So yes, I am predicting that this is going to be 5 stars for me. The Reformatory, like the actual place is like so sketchy and I'm like so curious to see what else happens. 25% of the way through is not very far through this book because it's like almost 600 pages. So like I am just so stoked to see what else happens. Another update for you guys while I am in the kitchen. I'm making spinach orzo soup, if you care, but I don't know exactly how far through. I'm 46% of the way through The Reformatory, so I feel like that's close enough to 50% that I can update you guys. So it's kind of like a dual POV situation where like we are, for like some parts, we are following Robbie's sister, and then some parts we're with Robbie at the Reformatory. Both POVs are very intriguing. Like in the description that I said at the beginning, we have Robbie who's in the Reformatory, but also we have Gloria, his sister, who is like desperately trying to figure out a way to get him out of the Reformatory, and she's like pulling out all the stops. She's even gone like straight to the people that had him convicted, which is like a white person's like land and she just like walked on their land late at night. I'm just like, girl, you're gonna get ching, you know what I mean? So she's doing like everything in her power to get him out. He's seeing ghosts at the reformatory. He just got the beating of his life for essentially no reason. And he's just trying to keep his head down at this point and just not go back to the fun house, which is what they basically call this shed that they have where they just beat children. He has made a couple friends. I do have a theory about one of them. I think it's becoming pretty obvious, my theory. So I'm just still really enjoying it. It's still 5-star feelings for me. I just think I love books that are so like enlightening, and I just feel like this is extremely enlightening, just like Chain Gang was. And it just showcases like how bad Black people had it, especially in Jim Crow South during the 50s. Like obviously it's just unspeakable atrocities. I know it's fiction obviously, but it's not fiction, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm really hoping that Gloria can get Robbie out of the reformatory. I'm very curious to see what happens like with the ghosts and Robbie. Yeah, and their father is like out in Chicago because in their hometown, which is called Gracetown, he was accused of rape by a white woman that he did not do. So he like went on the run. So I'm wondering if like he's gonna come back and like try to get involved and like try to get Robbie out. I don't know, but that's like super dangerous for him to come back because he will most certainly be hanged if he does that, if they catch him. So yeah, it's just like the tensions are high everywhere, and I feel like I love that in a book. I just love when the tensions are high. I don't know, it just keeps the book moving. This feels like so easy to read, and it just feels like I'm flying through it because not only is it just like fast paced, it's just like the writing is so easy and good, and just yeah, I'm just all the 5-star feelings, guys. So yeah, I'm gonna get back to my soup, but that's my little update. I'm so excited to see what else happens. A little less than 100 pages left to go in the reformatory, and it is getting crazy. I can't remember the last time I read a book where my heart was literally pounding and I'm like so freaking nervous and freaked out. Still getting 5-star feelings. It's probably most definitely going to be a 5 stars at this rate. I need to go grocery shopping and a few other little things today. I have a dinner with my friends tonight. I'm really hoping I can just whiz through the last 100 pages, and I will update you guys when I'm done. Literally stunned. This was so good. Oh my gosh. Almost 600 pages and not one moment where I was bored. I literally just finished this, so I'm still like speechless. I need all of you watching this to read this. Please. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And as I predicted, 5 stars. I'm actually considering if this is my favorite book of the year so far. Like, it's that good. Like 6 stars. This had like the perfect mix of like spooky and like thrilling and historical. I loved how she mixed real history with fictional characters in a fictional story, I'm just like stunned. I don't even know what to say. I loved these characters so much. I loved the setting. Like, I loved the heart. This book has heart. I loved the justice that happened. So good. I don't know what else to say without spoiling it. Yeah, it was such a great story and I loved it so much, but also I guess this video is somewhat themed because this has such a great look at mass incarceration of Black people. One quote that I love on like the little cover, Moby Dick might have flipped America on its back to show the rotting underbelly, but the reformatories looking just as closely at our bad history and somehow finding the heart beating underneath it all. Like, that's exactly how I would describe this. I don't even know what else to say except for please read this. Please, I beg you to read this. And it is such a good spooky season read also. It's just, guys, so good. So we read Powerless, which I ended up giving on Fable a 3.75, and I think I am going to stick with that. Then we read Chain Gang All-Stars, which I ended up giving a 4 stars, I believe. Yes. And then finally we read The Reformatory, which is a 5-star read. I'd say we did a pretty good job picking the TBR this month. I'm so glad to have finally checked some books off of my monthly TBR after feeling like every monthly TBR that I make just never gets read. It feels good to check all of these off of that. Let me know if you guys have read any of these books and what your thoughts are. Let me know if you're gonna add them to your TBR because I'm gonna be so stoked for you if you are. All 3 of these were so good. But until next week, guys, bye.